Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this fine planet we all call home together. And today is day 3 of the 21 days of the amazing power of what if. And Connie, like I said, I split this up. This is the state of the world. So tapping for fear, distress, all of that around the state of the world. And before we start tapping, I just want to share a couple of personal thoughts about it. I'm not like a big astrology person, like I don't live my life by it, but I started following astrology when I started doing this work and doing sessions because I would notice there would be periods of time where it seemed like every single client, like I'd have in a specific week, would be going through the same thing. And I'm like, that's odd. So I called my one friend that did it and she goes, oh yeah, that makes sense. Da, 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 da. She would tell me what was going on. And then so I do follow astrology, and this is what I have been told about what's happening in the world right now, particularly in the United States. We have, don't quote me on this, but we have these, it's like Saturn-Pluto conjunction. It's been the first time in 800 years that's happened here. And there's other countries that are having these significant events, and literally what they say, the astrology people say about it is, here in the United States, this hasn't happened since, 1776, when the American Revolution happened. So there you are. Here we are now in this state where all is in upheaval. And this is what always gives me peace about stuff. And trust me, I can get worked up, but I go less to fear, and I tend to get more pissed about what I see. That's just my personality. I'm like, oh my God. A lot of it annoys me. And a lot of it, what I see is people being filled with fear. And that's what's promoted. And I don't care, what country you're in, where in the world you are. When I see a lot of fear being promoted, it troubles me. Because I see what it does to people. And even when the whole pandemic hit, I literally believe fear is the bigger pandemic. And with the state of the world, fear is the biggest pandemic of all. And this isn't like, oh, I've got to walk around and be light and love and all that. Not at all. But what you can do, and the best thing you can do, is honor your truth about whatever you're feeling. Honor the fear. Honor the worry. And go into it. And the beauty is you have tapping to help you do that. I would never say do the spiritual bypass and just try to think happy thoughts and everything's going to be beautiful and okay. It doesn't work because it's in our nervous system, and we have to honor and attend to that. We're still in a body, and we have a body as a human being that carries emotions, and we need to honor that. And what I find, and have found in thousands of sessions that I've done over the years, is as we honor our truth, the unadulterated truth, no matter how dark that can seem, but we tap through it, that's what helps it to release. What I also find is a lot of us judge ourselves, like, oh, I don't want to be fearful about this. I don't want to worry about this. But you can't stop that. You can't stop the thoughts, but you can interrupt them. And when you interrupt them, what you're doing is you're honoring your truth while you're working to shift that. And when I came to that realization, it changed my freaking life. And I mean, I am a massive work in progress. I by no means have my shit like, oh, I've got it all together. Not at all. But it helps immensely. And I've seen growth and shift. And it's my new dog, newly shaved dog too, on my lap. So that's what I would say is you just got to honor where you're at. And notice, again, even in the news, what are they selling me? What are they trying to sell me? Are they selling me fear? Are they selling me worry? What are they trying to sell me? I don't care what station you watch. I'm not here to debate whatever. It's like, what are they trying to sell me? What are they filling my brain with? Does this add to my life to engage in this? And let me tell you, I engage in stuff, especially when I find I get like irritated and annoyed about stuff. Then I'm like, I'm going to bang my shopping cart today. And you can do that. It's not to say like you're supposed to sit in a corner and meditate and never deal with life. That's not part of I mean, we have to experience life, but it's like that simple question, you know. And the other question is this a value to me? Is this worry of value? Is this helping me? And not to judge yourself at all for it, but just to interrupt that and go, is this helping get me where I want to go? And sometimes you just have to engage in the worry and the fear, absolutely, but tap through it. So I just want to say that, and let's tap. Even though the state of the world really worries me, really concerns me, and can fill me with fear, I choose to honor my truth right now. Even though the state of the world creates so much fear within me, I just see things falling apart. I choose to honor my truth right now. Even though the state of the world freaks me out, fills me with fear, what if I can honor this fear and tap through it so that I can release it from my nervous system? And go to the eyebrow. All this fear, all this worry, everywhere I turn, there's something bad going on. It seems like bad news is everywhere. It's everywhere. And it freaks me out. And it terrifies me. And what if I'm judging myself about this, I can see that and interrupt it? What if I can remind myself that I can't stop my fearful thoughts, but I can stop feeding them, and I can interrupt them when they show up? What have I been feeding my brain with? Have I been feeding my brain with fear? Watching everything that's going wrong? If I'm doing that, what if I could interrupt that too? Ask myself, is this serving me? Is this serving my higher good? Is it serving my everyday life? Is it serving how I feel? And if the answer is no, what if I can slowly start to shift my focus? And as I shift my focus, I'm interrupting the fear pattern. What if I can honor the fear by acknowledging it and tapping through it? And what if that starts to shift it for me? And by shifting it, I start to notice, wow, I'm a little less worried, a little less afraid, And what if that is evidence that I'm shifting my physiology and shifting what's possible for me? And then what if I find I naturally start to migrate towards information and news that lifts me up? And then I can take it in because I'm no longer trapped in the fear cycle. And what if that changes everything for me? I like that idea a lot. That I can change my fear pattern one thought at a time. And before I know it, I'm finding the good in the world. And I start to see it everywhere. Because I've honored my fear, honored my worry, and helped it to dissipate so it can leave my nervous system and make space for all the good that's happening in the world that the news doesn't talk about. Take a breath. Connie, you're here. Fiona, hello. I love that you ladies are here. So last night I was watching some YouTube stuff, and all of a sudden this commercial comes up. And you know, on YouTube, they're tracking you. So they start, okay, this is what I can feed this chick, and this is what she's going to bite on, and this is what she's not. Like, I mean, I'm like a poster child for whatever the algorithms are. They're like, oh, if we send her this, she'll buy this. Like, I'm an algorithm. I'm a poster child for that. But I catch it in myself now. But what came up was this ad for the number 4oceans.com. And it's a group of young people. I would put them 20s and 30s. And I was watching this. I mean, I feel emotion as I tell you this story now. I'm watching this commercial, and I immediately donated to them. And how donated is I bought some of their bracelets, hats, and stuff, because what they do is they go into the oceans. They've cleaned out 17 million pounds of plastic from the ocean. And now some genius thought it was a great idea to throw tires off the coast of Florida, millions of tires, because they were going to try and create a new coral reef with freaking tires. That's genius. Well, what did they do? They started to disintegrate, and guess what? Gosh, shocking. They've caused problems in the ocean. So the same group, like 4 or 5 tires at a time, they have divers that go down, and they wrap the tires up, and they put them on floats, and they send them up. And what they're doing with the tires is they're making jewelry. They're making bracelets. They're making necklaces. And then I don't know if that's they sell t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all kinds of stuff. But I was like, oh, I totally have to support these people. Am I going to like learn to scuba dive and go do that? No, probably not at this stage. But not that I couldn't, but I'm like, nah, not me. I am so glad to know about that organization and to know that there are people doing things like that in the world for the climate. And I also years ago heard of this young guy from the Netherlands who had created a machine that was also cleaning up copious amounts of plastic. It like rounded all the plastic up sort of in these big nets and was cleaning it up. Those are the things now that I see, and I'm like, oh my God, I love that. Uplifts me. And I call my daughters and I tell them, hey, this group's going on, because they're going to be on the planet, hopefully, much longer than me at this, and I want them to know there's hope. There's hope. There are good people out there doing good things, but weirdly, that doesn't sell. It doesn't sell like filling people with fear and terrorizing them with everything that's going on. And that's why I am definitely informed. And I like I said, I took I would say the whole COVID thing to the nth degree, and I figured out why I was doing that. Like the research, I'm like, I'm going to research all this and hear all sides of this. I'm not just going to believe what I'm told. I'm going to do the research. That's always my personality. But I reached a point where I was like, Marty, you're overdoing this. Like you're overdoing it. So then I tapped through it and I figured out, oh, it's very much related back to my Catholic upbringing. These authority figures that I often would say that I found very corrupt, trying to tell me what I'm supposed to do with my life. So it was great to realize that. And that's what when fears like these come up and worries, it's information for us. And when we just tap to interrupt it, and Connie, thank you so much for this topic because it's a great one, especially nowadays. To go, what I find is I keep clearing out my trauma, I naturally start to migrate towards like that. I was like, oh, isn't that wonderful? YouTube is now sending me videos like this of, 4 oceans and look at all these people. And I do watch a lot of that stuff to find the good that's going on in the world, because otherwise we'll drown in the fear, the worry, the state of the world. So Connie, thanks again. Fiona, great to have you both here. Hope this was helpful, and it'll be posted on YouTube here shortly. All right, bye for now, ladies. Much love to you both.